You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We have a special guest in the building.
And she comes in peace, but she means business.
Janelle Monáe, welcome.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. It's so good to see y'all.
You smell divine.
Do I?
Yes.
Thank you.
What is that fragrance? You
Black
can't
girl
tell.
magic.
Well, unanimously, one of our favorite people, Janelle Monáe, is here with us this morning.
Y'all. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's a big time because the album is coming out, Dirty Computer.
Yes. Yes, it's coming out.
You feel
soon.
good, though. You put out 4 singles so far, and it's been getting tremendous reception, especially the visuals, too.
Yeah.
So you're directing the videos also, or how is that working?
Yeah, I mean, I, am heavily involved in my creative, but I've worked with some really amazing women and men on the visuals. Lacey Duke, Emma Westingberg, Alan Ferguson. I'm probably leaving off somebody else. Yeah, I work with some amazing people, and it was really great to be able to collaborate and bring what I had in my head to life. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always great when you can work with great people and make it happen.
Now, is that a Bluetooth or that's just a fashion
Oh
statement?
my God, I didn't even know I had
Oh,
it.
I didn't know. I was like,
This is so...
I thought you was making a new
She's a
fashion
computer.
statement.
I was
the earbuds. All right.
I know.
She's an Android.
I'm like, you're too young for a Bluetooth
Somebody
now.
take these.
Bluetooth for old
Girl, I
people.
keep 'em. I know.
So why
Look,
the name
looking like
Dirty
somebody's
Computer?
uncle. Right.
Why Dirty Computer? Why
Dirty
name?
Computer. Dirty Computer. Well, Dirty Computer was an album that I knew I needed to make before I even put out my first album, The Archandroid. And it's this concept about what it means to have your very existence be erased.
Sound like Black history.
If you think about today, when you think about women like Sandra Bland, when you think about the 2 black men who were in Starbucks who got escorted out because of their skin, somebody in their backyard, a police officer mistaking a cell phone for a gun. I mean, Rekia Boyd, I can go on and on and on. But minorities, those who are oftentimes oppressed, are considered dirty computers.
So how do we clean our computers?
Well, the question is, the things that make us unique, should they be cleaned?
Absolutely.
Dirty computers, we see ourselves as positives, as attributes, as features, not as bugs, as viruses, that need to be cleansed. And I think this album is a celebratory album to celebrate us, to make sure that, as we go through dealing with the leader of the free world who really, quite frankly, doesn't give a fuck about us. How do we get past the anger of that and move through love and lead through love and continue to come out on top? So I just wanted to create songs that celebrated Black girl magic. I mean, when you look at Pink, when you look at Django Jane, when you look at I Like That, when you look at Make Me Feel, it's a celebration of us. It's a celebration of the things that make us unique, even if it makes others uncomfortable.
I'm always so conflicted about stuff like that because on one hand, I don't care what racist white bigots think about me, but then on the other hand, I need them to think about us a certain way so they don't mistake my cell phone for a gun.
Absolutely. I think that it's up to us to tell our stories, to get as many images as we possibly can out there. I mean, just look at what Black Panther has done, through Afrofuturism, like telling our stories and seeing us in the future. We need to know that we make it.
Absolutely.
We need to know that we can be as magical as we want to be on screen, and that we're not monolithic. We're not all the same, and we're not threatening.
Right.
Our existence should not mean a threat. Our power as women should not make men fearful either, So it talks about a lot of different things. Yeah.
I love the variety. Even with the first 4 singles that you put out, all the songs are completely different from each other. Like when I listen to them, I listen to I Like That, which you just put out the video for that, which is a beautiful song.
Thank you.
And that's the singing Janelle Monáe with some rap too. And then you hear a song, Make Me Feel, and that's very reminiscent of Prince, which I'm the biggest Prince fan. Well, not bigger than you probably, but that's my favorite artist of all time.
Did he work with you on that?
I worked with Prince on my last album. And
Into the mic.
Oh, sorry. I always do that every time I come here. I worked with Prince on my last project, and he was a mentor to me, and he gave a lot, like in terms of just advice and wanting to make sure that if I ever needed anything, he was there. But in terms of like his giving and what he did, he was always very modest about it and never liked to talk about what he did. So just out of respect. I mean, even up until when he passed, we didn't know that he gave to lots of charities and people around him, because he was one of those people who just gave because it was, you know, something that he thought was a godly thing to do. But I miss him, and I try to honor him as much as I possibly can through music. I mean, I don't think if Prince or Paisley Park, if that didn't exist, I don't think I would know how far I could take it or my collective could take it in terms of black artists. I'd never seen a black man express himself in the way that Prince did, the way he played with masculine and feminine energy. And, you know, he was just in that free motherfucker state, you know?
And that song gives us that feeling, definitely gives us that feeling.
Cool.
So if he did work on it, you wouldn't tell nobody.
Yeah, it's just one of those, just out of respect, you know? Because even with my last, he was on my last album, The Electric Lady, and we did a song called Giving Them What They Love. And it was the easiest feature I ever got. He was just like, what do you want me to do? There was no lawyers going back. Like, it was just one of those things where he just wanted to contribute and he wanted to help out in whatever way he could.
Was Prince really a normal person? Like, I'm talking about, like, do you just sit around and kick it with him and he'd be like, yo, let's go to Chick-fil-A or something? Like, because he seemed very mystical.
I will say this, and it's kind of difficult, so pardon me to talk about him. But I will say that he never allowed his mystery to get in the way of his mentorship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he never let that be a thing. But then after that, he became mysterious again. Like, I really, 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 really still feel his presence. I just feel like he's just in another frequency.
You must have been hesitant to even say, because he probably came to you and said, oh, I'd love to do something with you. Because you can't, like, be like, Prince, you know, we cool and everything. How about, can I get this feature for the album? How did that work?
Well, I actually did come to him.
You did?
Yeah, because we were on tour together, and, you know, I had gone to Paisley Park and performed, and I just had this idea, and I was very nervous. I was really afraid. I was like, man, he's going to say no. He's not going to, I mean, he's Prince. He's going to be like, I'm not doing this. And I was like, I had to have everything. I was like, I needed to have all my ducks in a row. I need to be able to tell him the vision. I cannot BS him. It has to be clear. It has to be enticing. And so when I called him up and I told it to him, he was like, so what do you want me to do? And I was like, well, I want you to do this, this, this. I'm shaking. I'm scared. And he was like, okay, well, let's do it. You write it. Send it to me.
Done.
And it was done.
Wow.
It was done.
I had the pleasure of meeting him once. I didn't know he was going to have that effect on me when I met him.
What was that effect? What'd you do?
I couldn't think of nothing else to say other than, hey, I grew up a Jehovah's Witness too.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah.
I don't even think Charlamagne said hello. It was just, we were all
Can we
out
greet
here.
the man
Prince
first?
walked by and all. He said, I was Jehovah's Witness too.
He has that presence.
Prince was like, what?
Man.
And then he floated away, and I took a picture of him because he didn't want to take pictures. So as he was walking away, he was floating. So I took the picture, and it was in my phone. Everybody in here can attest to that. And then the picture went black.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Where the picture was on my phone, it was just a black square.
I'm not surprised.
That was true.
I mean, I think I said this online. I think he and Michael Jackson are just laughing at all of us.
Wow.
We did Don't Stop Till You Get Enough at Madison Square Garden. I performed a cover of Michael with Prince.
Wow.
Yeah, so those two for me have been huge inspirations in terms of just this album and experiences. With this, I released an e-motion picture. Some people will call it a visual album or a short film, but it's an e-motion picture, and it's a continuation from what you hear in the speakers to the screen, and it digs deeper into the world that is Dirty Computer. And I wanted to make sure that I was just giving as much as I possibly could to the art form and you know, just following in my heroes' footsteps. Like, I loved when they would release Moonwalker or Purple Rain and, you know, so on and so forth. So it's a very exciting time.
You know what I meant to ask, you know, as a black woman,
Yeah.
how was your childhood? Because I'm watching your video, I'm listening to the lyrics, and you're talking about the kids that rated you a 6, and the kid talking, you know, behind you in your class.
Called her weird in the third grade.
Weird in the third grade. There's a lot of black girls that deal with the same thing. How did you overcome that and not let that affect you? Or did it affect you?
Yeah, it affected me. Yes, absolutely it affected me. I think that, you know, through media, through magazines, there's been this stereotype or way that beauty is perceived. And when you're impressionable like that, and when you're trying to find yourself, for me, I mean, I decided I wanted to cut off my relaxer. Like I had that black mama that was working. My mom, you know, I've spoken about this a lot. My mom was a janitor. She, you know, also was at hotel. She didn't have time to be combing my thick hair every morning. So I went to the salon, went to the beauty shop, and, you know, I got a relaxer. But when I got old enough, I was like, I want to cut it off. I was really into Erykah Badu. I was into Lauryn Hill. I was just transitioning. And then, you know, I couldn't afford all the latest stuff. So I went to thrift stores. And you get like $2 stuffs, but it's unique. Like nobody else has it. And so imagine walking in 9th grade, you know, 10th grade, chopped hair off, thrift stores in Kansas City, Kansas, where people wearing Jordans and Tommy, and which is cool. But that just wasn't me, you know? And it wasn't always met with, oh, that's cool. Like, that's fresh. Like, that's dope. It was met with, man, you'd be so much prettier if you just did this. If you just did this. You'd be so much prettier. And that bothered me. That bothered me a lot. And I knew that it was important with this album to be very honest and open about those things that bother me, because I have a little niece. I know that it's not just me that have experienced feeling, you know, not fitting in and not feeling as beautiful because you've decided to embrace the shit that makes you cool, or that you feel cool as.
Yeah. I thought about that when I was listening to you. I like that song because you said the guy rated you a 6, and I'm like, that's why I tell my daughter
like
she's beautiful
6.
every day.
Me the same way.
So she don't never have to hear that from some kid in her class. Like, I'm
So
fly.
it doesn't bother her.
Absolutely. I mean, it'll bother you, but you gotta have. It's about, regardless. You know, you gotta have that mindset when you walk in the room. You know, you have to, even when I was with the tears in my eyes, I always knew I was the shit. You know, that was one of the lines. It was just something. It's something that we just gotta have. You gotta have self-love, regardless of whatever anybody feels about you, because you have to live with you.
Right.
And I knew that I needed to get comfortable in my own skin.
And people should think not just about your daughters, but think about other people in this world that you might say cruel things to or cruel things about, and how it affects them. Because we listen to that and we're like, well, look at Janelle Monáe now. I'm sure he looks back at, you know. I wonder if do you even know who he is still to this day?
No,
What's his name, man? What's that boy's name?
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do
His name, man.
He might be watching. I don't want to vibe him, you know.
But I'm saying,
but
you
it was
have
all
to,
good.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
him and in general, though, because this world can be a really cruel place. If
Yeah.
you look at social media, you just look at the nasty things that people say about each other.
Oh, yeah.
And the president that we have to deal with, and everybody else in that regime, and you have to think to yourself, this place, like, why can't we all just treat each other
yeah,
better and with love?
Absolutely.
Are you gonna rap? You gonna
Agree.
do a rap album?
You know what?
Cause you can rap now.
Yeah.
You can rap now.
You think I can?
Absolutely.
Oh man, thank you. That's a huge compliment from you. I use it as a tool. You know, I think whenever I feel like I have something to say that, you know, it needs to cut through, that's when I'll do it. But
It's like when
I
things
might,
make you
I
angry,
might.
you rap.
Right.
Because you rapped the line about cutting your perm off and you're getting rated a 6. You rapped the line about somebody calling you weird in 3rd grade.
Django
Yeah.
Jane is.
Yeah. Jane is all right.
Yeah.
rap
It was just important. I mean, when I was recording Django Jane in particular, I remember leaving the studio. You know, I was just so upset thinking about just where women's rights are right now. Just feeling that sting of what it means to have your rights be trampled on, you know, by those in a position of power. Feeling that sting of being called bitch for the first time by a man. I mean, y'all wouldn't know what that feels like. I don't know if you felt that, but I've
Yeah, of
absolutely felt that. And, you know, feeling the sting of just feeling like the representation for Black women and the things that have happened to us. You know, you're thinking about just everything I've been seeing on TV. It was difficult. It was difficult to record that song.
Right.
How does it feel when you hear it in the music? When you hear guys refer to women as bitches and hoes in the music?
Well, here's how I feel. I feel like there's a difference between Angela calling me a bitch than you calling me a bitch. Because in the same way how we feel about white people saying nigga. I think I was listening to something I was in the car listening to whatever story. It's kind of like the oppressor calling the oppressed a word. Black people, we took nigga and we said, we're going to redefine what that means. We're going to take the power out of it and we'll use it, you know, in the way that we want to use it. We own that now. I feel the same way about bitch. I feel like bitch was used to demean women, oppress women. I don't care if you're doing it in an endearing way. It's still coming from you, male. You're a privileged person in this world. You're more privileged than the woman. And I don't like it. I don't like that. I mean, but obviously, I mean, I live in Atlanta. I listen to trap music. I listen to all of it. I think it's a conversation we should keep having. Yeah, I have feelings
that's a
about
Hood
that.
Fear Factor challenge, by the way.
What's that?
Call Janelle Monáe the
Better
B
not.
word. Ain't nobody got that kind of heart. Can you imagine the wrath of black women? If that was
Yeah, I mean, black women in general don't call none of us. You know
Absolutely.
that. I just.
But
yeah, I
women will
think
be like, yeah, that's my bitch. That's, you know.
that doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll be like,
because
"Bitch,
that's
what you
us.
doing?
That's
Bitch,
that's
we going
us.
out tonight."
Exactly. Like I don't have, you know, I don't have any issue with that.
If
Well, when
Envy's
did you
like,
get
bitch,
there,
why
though?
you late to work? I'll be like, okay, Envy, now you
Yeah.
cross
I
the
did
line.
not say that.
Exactly.
But when did you get there? Because I'm sure you grew up listening to that type of music, and
Yeah.
you know, when did you say, you know what, I don't like that shit no more?
I think after I got in the industry, you know, after I started writing and lyrics, and I think that's when it started to really, I started to question it, and I just kind of had a feeling, and I felt like it was so much of it. It started to like really happen all at the same time, and I'm like, do they not know, you know, like some women may like that, and I just want to be clear, I might be in the minority on that issue, and I'm cool with that. And some women may be like, yeah, I like when guys or my guy calls me that, and that's cool, that's fine.
My boyfriend would never use that word to talk to me ever in
Yeah,
life.
yeah. But for me, it's just again, I feel like it came from an oppressive place, and when it's used by men, I don't feel the same way. It rubs me.
It's meant
I
to be
feel
hurtful.
offended, and I feel like it kind of subconsciously brainwashes us to think that it's okay to continue to disrespect us like that. I mean, we're trying to fight against patriarchy right now, and so I don't want to get too deep.
No, you're right. That's how I
But
feel
yeah,
about the N-word
yeah.
too, though. Because that's like when I hear artists using the N-word, it's kind of giving these white fans the license to feel like they can use it too.
Well, I don't feel like I feel like we can use it. I feel like they used it. Their ancestors used it for centuries. It's ours now. Like you don't get to. That's the least you can do is let us have that word back. You know, I don't feel that way. I don't feel like those who are more privileged can use words that were used to oppress those who are still oppressed in this
So they
world.
should edit themselves at like concerts and stuff. and
Absolutely,
parties?
that's the price. That's the price you pay. You know,
not a
and
hard thing
I
to do.
love white people. I love being able to have concerts and have them there. But there are just some things like I don't go to China or other places around the world and do certain things
True.
in their culture. Like I don't speak. You know, I would never try to speak. Assert myself. You know, in some type of language that is sacred to them. You just don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's like when you a child, you don't get in grown folks' business.
Right.
It's like there are lines to things. Don't get me preaching right now.
I'll let you in the house. Take your shoes off at least. You know what I mean?
Right.
Respect the house.
Yeah. I just think that, you know, we got to respect each other's spaces, man. That's really what it is. And I think it's just important to you know, not be defensive about it. You know, listen, not to just respond or be like, I don't like how this is making me feel. Don't look at it as a you know,
Attack.
something that attack on you. Listen to understand, and that's really what I think we need to do more. Just listen to understand why something hurts somebody.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
Now the song Pink and the visual. I love the visuals for that song. And it took me a second to realize that you guys were dancing in vaginas. Did you see
we were
that?
dancing in
I just
vaginas.
thought they were fluffy dresses.
Right, the pants are actually.
She thought vaginas,
Wow.
fluffy pants. What did you think?
I didn't know what it was.
It was a
Now
vagina.
that
That's
she says
definitely
it,
a
it all
vagina.
makes sense now.
It's a nice pink vagina.
Well, some people call them vulva pants, vagina pants. I mean, there's some women in there who didn't have on pants. And
some had, the bush.
yeah, the bush was in there. I tried as much as I could to be as inclusive as possible and to show as many, different versions of us. But I really just wanted to celebrate women and Black women in particular, because I don't see us on screen really having an amazing time.
That
just being unique.
Looks like so much fun. That whole video.
It was so much fun. It was so great, and I had a woman direct it, Emma Westingberg. So the energy was just different. It was just like you saw how powerful we are when we're together, when we're aligned. It was just like a visual of that, and I just wanted to give black girls an opportunity to, whenever they're feeling low, feeling down, like you can look at pink and see yourself and feel like, I got this shit. Like, we're gonna be all right.
What's the symbolism of the vagina dresses?
Well, the symbolism, I think that, not all women have vaginas. So there are some women in there with the pants on to represent, a part of them. There are women in there who don't have them on.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about female genital mutilation, if you think about our trans women, I tried as much as I possibly could to speak from my heart, my own personal experience, because it starts from me. I am a woman. I do have a vagina. I'm proud of it. But that's not all that there is that makes up a powerful woman. Pink like your brain, pink like your heart. There's so many forms of the pink. And I just wanted to show a variety of who we can be, and that even though we may be different in what we have, we're still going to help empower each other and support each other through our differences.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because when I see it, I'm like, okay, I thought we're not supposed to reduce women to their body parts.
I don't think that I don't think that we should do that. I don't think there's anything wrong with celebrating it. There are a lot of women who go with vaginas who go through a lot, from hysterectomies to you name it. Some women can't have kids. Like there's a lot that goes into that, and there's a war on the female reproductive system. There's a war on our vaginas actually right now. Meaning, you have the leader of the free world
telling you what to do with it,
telling us what we can do and what we can't do.
Right.
A whole line of conservative, cis men are telling us as women are basically trying to control our bodies through regulations, through reducing our health care, getting rid of Planned Parenthood, all of that. Like, we have to really pay attention and not demonize women who want to be free and expressing their sexuality.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important too, because a lot of people act like women can't express their sexuality and shouldn't. There's something wrong with that. And people should be able to express themselves how they want. If they choose to not be,
it's
dressed
about
a certain way, they can dress how they want to dress. It's up to you. And just because how you're dressed isn't how you should be judged too.
Absolutely.
Sometimes people be like, oh, I like the fact that, you don't dress a certain way and that makes you better than somebody else, but it's just a form of expression, how you dress.
Yeah. It's about agency. It's always been about agency for me, us having the right to choose whatever it is we want to do. And we shouldn't feel like we have to cover up or not talk about our parts or be proud of who we are, or, because it'll make someone else feel uncomfortable, or I've heard people say, well, how she was dressed invited, rape culture in, or how she was dressed was the reason why she was raped or sexually harassed.
Or they'll ask you, what did you have on?
Or what did you have on?
Right.
And we have to really examine that. Like, we shouldn't have to, stop our freedom of expression because some men can't control themselves.
Right.
Some predators, there are predators out there who can't control themselves. That's not on us.
Yeah, I never understood that logic. Like, she shouldn't have been wearing that. Nah, he shouldn't have raped her.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yourself, sir.
It's happening, and so I'm for women's agency, man. I'm not on that respectability politics wave. I think with this album and with the visuals, since we're on this, it was important to me to experiment with different looks and different styles. And have the freedom to express myself through my clothing and through, the way that I danced, the way that I talked, all of it. because I felt like for a while people were using my image to denounce and defame and demean other women who, and by what I'm saying is that because I was wearing a tuxedo and, you hadn't seen, my skin, people thought that I was purposefully, or not everybody, but some people who have their own agendas and are respectability politicians may have been misled into believing that I was covering up to
be an example
to
of
be
how
an
women
example
should
of
be
how to
dressed.
be proper
down other women, right?
and so
That's
I
why
didn't
I
like
love
that. I never took that as a compliment. I never took it as a compliment because I thought it was very divisive. I thought that the reasons why I dressed the way I dressed was because
This is how I
of to honor my parents, to honor my working class parents through uniform, and also to redefine what it meant to be young, to be black, and to be a woman artist. Like, we don't have to all take the same coordinates to reach the same destinations. Like, I should be able to wear a tuxedo and it still be sexy, if I wanted to be sexy. So it's really about the agency, and so I think it was just important too to be very clear that no matter how we're dressed, what we look like, Janelle Monáe is a supporter of women and women's agency, period.
That's why I loved when you took that picture with Cardi B.
Oh,
and
yes, I
love
absolutely. I love Cardi B. I love her album. Really, really, her album goes. Like, I listen to it when I'm in glam and everything. I think that people are doing it.
Did you get flack for that? Because I saw Angela Rye do the same thing, and they was all into her comments. Why are you bigging up Cardi B?
Why?
Because they think that somebody, like you said, they think that they perceive Angela Rye a certain way. They perceive Cardi B a certain way. So they think that Angela shouldn't be bigging up Cardi because Cardi's beneath
That's
her.
crazy.
Yeah, that's just, listen, we can't even pay attention to that. I mean, like I said, women should be busy fighting patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we should be busy doing, not coming together. We should be coming together around bigger issues. That's all small talk. And I support Cardi. I support Beyonce. At the end of the day, I think all of us want to be free in the way we express ourselves.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You're a performer.
Yeah.
You seen her perform at Coachella.
Oh, did I?
Now, what did you think? We had this debate, too, that we're going to
Yeah.
talk
I'm
after.
about to get hit
We
with
saw
this
her
question,
post.
my
Michael
G.
Jackson,
Okay.
Beyonce. Both great performers.
Just performing, nothing else.
Yeah.
It's just
live
on
performance.
stage.
Yeah.
And you seen her perform. What were your thoughts, and what do you think?
First of all, Beyonce is a friend. She's, a supporter of me, and I've been a supporter of her for years. She's opened up doors for me as a performer, as an entertainer, and I was proud. I was proud as a black woman, as an artist, watching her kill
She killed it.
the fucking stage. It was exceptional, brilliant. And I don't think it's fair to compare Michael and B. I think that she has already said that, MJ is an inspiration to her and one of her favorite entertainers. And I think that Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson and Beyonce is Beyonce.
Good answer.
Different categories.
Okay.
Yes.
The song Django Jane, interesting title. Was that inspired by the movie at all?
You said
Django Jane?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. It was inspired by Django Jane. When I saw it, it was one of the first movies that made me feel just good.
Yes, I
Like,
love
didn't
Django.
you feel good after Django?
I didn't understand when everybody was so
I'm
mad
sorry.
at Django.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry,
no.
but and listen, I'm not trying to divide people or nothing. But when I think about what happened, to our ancestors,
You goddamn
when we had that
right.
revenge movie,
Yes.
what? I mean, it inspired me immensely.
I remember Spike Lee said that he felt like Django was disrespectful to his ancestors. I'm like, did you see it?
Right? Were we watching the same movie? And I love you, Spike. I don't know if we was watching the same movie though.
Because we see us be victims all the time. So it was just good to see like him.
Yeah,
him
and it was a
rebel.
movie. It was a movie. We don't know if that actually happened in real life.
Or Nat Turner story. Nat Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Wait, was that based off the Nat Turner story?
Birth of a Nation?
No, Birth of a Nation.
Oh, no,
but
no. When I
not
saw,
Django Jane.
No, not
Yeah,
Django. But when I
okay.
saw Django, I was like, this is probably the closest
Right,
we'll ever
the
get
closest
to
to Nat
seeing
Turner, absolutely.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Now, how
It's
did
very
the
true.
Women's March affect you long term? Because you were there, front and center, gave an excellent speech. But after that, because I know I went to the Women's March, and
Which
it
one?
affect-
What city did you go to?
I went to the first one.
Oh, okay.
in in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know for me, it affected me. I had my friends with me, and I was like, okay, we have to make some changes just in our thought process moving forward, even for that one day, just to see everybody out and about. Everybody was being real polite to each other. Everybody was having this feeling of unity. You could see a lot of people supporting women, different races, everybody at different sexualities. Everybody was out there front and center supporting.
Yeah.
We didn't have issues waiting online for the porta potties because there were hundreds of people waiting.
Yeah.
Everybody was just a real great mood. And I was like, you know what? We need more of this, because I think a lot of our days are filled with such negative thoughts and us having little snarky things to say about each other. And I was like, we all have to focus on ourselves and these thoughts that we have, and looking at social media and having these nasty little comments in our head.
Right.
But how did it affect you?
Oh my God.
That day.
I was proud. I felt so proud. And this was like a few days after the election. So I'm in Georgia, you know, and 30 minutes out, like maybe a few weeks before that, the KKK had gone to a little black girl's birthday party and like had the Confederate flags up, and it was crazy. And so I felt, it was like the first time I felt unsafe after the election. I'm living in Georgia, I'm living in the South, and I'm like, is this going to give them more fuel to do things like they did at the birthday party, or to feel like, you know, they can attack or harass us because, you know, this number 45 was elected. And I felt when I went to the Women's March, I felt inspired, I felt encouraged, I felt safe, I felt like we were going to come together and fix this. And I still feel like that. I still feel like, you know, there is a big possibility that the people won't let us down this time. And not all people let us down with the election, but I think right now we see how real it is. I hope we do. I hope we see how real it is. And that we have to vote. We got to vote in the midterms. We got to, you know, we have to put our differences aside and do what's right for the greater good of humanity, for America. Yeah, and I felt proud as a woman to be standing there. I didn't have my speech prepared. I thought the way they sold it to me, it was like it was going to be smaller. I don't think they knew. I don't think the organizers knew there were going to be millions of people that it was going to have that impact. And so when I got there, I was like, oh my God, I need to get my words together. Like Angela Davis was in the back. There were so many powerful women, and I'm like, they probably got their speeches prepared. I don't know what, you know. And I was luckily I was just coming off Hidden Figures promo tour, and I was living, you know, through Mary Jackson. I was living in that 60s, 50s era, you know, segregation, and it was just so eerie, you know, majority of everything that we were dealing with at NASA and through about segregation and women's rights and black people, all of it felt like what was going on today. And so I think because I've been on press tour for that movie, I was just like already in the zone about what it was that I was going to say, and it just flowed from my heart. I didn't have anything written down. I didn't have any words that I had a long time to think about. Everything was from my heart, and I just feel very thankful that it was received well and that I could contribute.
Damn, I never thought about that. How did you get that spirit out of you? Because like you said, you came from Hidden Figures, and then we got into this tumultuous time. Like, how did you get it out of you, or is it out of you?
It encouraged me to write Dirty Computer. I was writing the album during that time. And I was like, it's too much at stake. Like, you know, we need this now. Like Hidden Figures was in the 60s. I know we have the Women's March, but in music, I just kind of go where I feel like I can contribute. And I felt like I could contribute as a black woman's voice during these times. You know, whether people like my music or not, I feel a responsibility. I feel a bigger responsibility as an artist to lead with love and to, you know, express concerns and be very honest and open and vulnerable, but ultimately move us to a space where we are more solution oriented and where we feel as though we have an opportunity to come out on top with all of these things that are going on.
What do you think the best way to get messaging out through art is? Because Hidden Figures was phenomenal. Because I never even knew that story. So is music still your favorite outlet to get messaging through, or is it movies? What do you think it is?
I think it can be both. I mean, I grew up, you know, acting and singing. I was a drama school geek, and a cappella nerd. Like I loved musicals. I wrote at the Coterie Theaters, Young Playwrights Roundtable, after school Shakespeare programs. I was that kid. Like the art saved my life. Like really, really, really saved my life. And I could have gotten a whole lot of trouble growing up. But I was always busy, in talent showcases and trying to move to New York and go to performing arts school. And so I think that, I think that you can do both. For me, I try to pick things that resonate with me and touch me. And Moonlight and Hidden Figures, I felt like those messages were messages that, you could never get enough of championing. We needed to hear these stories. We needed to, celebrate these people. And I think through music, you can do that, and you can bring people together, because no matter what your political beliefs are,
right.
Where you come from, you go to a concert and you're in the room with the whole world. You in the room with your enemies,
Right.
and there's a moment for music to really, really bring people together. So right now I'm focused on music, and I'll do more films, but I have to really believe in them.
I got to ask a question before we get up out of here. And now this is totally off topic.
Yeah.
And this is, if I don't ask this question, I think my wife and women that follow me and men as well. What is your beauty regimen as far as your face? Like, your face is flawless. So
Is
Go
it?
ahead, girl. Go ahead, girl. What else
have
you
my
want to know?
days.
Go ahead, girl. Go ahead, girl.
You know what you want to know? Don't you want to know?
Y'all all got pretty.
Look, she
skin.
wakes
I got
up like
dermatologist.
this.
So
Yeah,
tell
y'all
us,
look good.
for people out there, I know we have to wrap up in a second, but what is your beauty regimen as far as your face and everything?
What is my beauty? You know what? I have my days.
What you wash your face with?
When I get stressed, I can get a little bump or two. Like I can absolutely get a bump or two. But I try to exercise a lot, because you're pumping those endorphins, and that helps with your skin. Why did I just do that?
Yoga.
I don't know what exercise that was.
Exercise. I don't know why I did that.
Everybody gotta try
doing
this.
this all day
this.
Yeah. You know what, man? I really do think that it comes from inside.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there have been times where my skin has gone crazy because I've been stressed out. I've been worried. I've been concerned.
Dairy.
And dairy too. Dairy can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat a lot of dairy, but I really do think it comes from internally. For me, I won't speak because some people have,
Other issues.
Other issues,
Right.
yeah, and I don't want to speak for everybody. But for me, I find when I'm stressed out, my skin is not right. So I told myself, I'm not gonna be concerned with being perfect. I wanna just stay as honest and open and making sure that I know that I'm not gonna get everything right. It's not gonna be right, and that releases a lot of stress off me, knowing that, hey, there's some people that may not like your album. You may get some bad reviews. You may get some really positive reviews, but just don't get too high. Don't get too low. Stay right there. Stay balanced. You're alive.
That's what my daddy used to say. You're never as good as they say you are. You're never as bad as they say you are.
Absolutely. And that releases, I'm telling you, that's like a weight off my back. You know what I'm saying? Like when Make Me Feel video came out and Django Jane and everything, I didn't sleep that night. I was so like, oh my God, what are people gonna say? Da, da, da. And now I'm like, I'm not going through this campaign feeling like that. I'm not going through life. I know where my intentions are. I know, I know that I'm trying my best to do the right thing. I know I'm trying to push people forward, push us forward. I know I care too much about this shit, and I'll just stay rooted in there, and knowing that knowing those things helps my skin glow.
There you go.
I got one last question.
Glow.
'Cause I think you'll body this, because I really want to know you. What did you think of the Recording Academy president saying women will win Grammys when they step up?
See, man, you had to ask me that. Well, I did a speech that night that he released that statement, and I got an email from them afterwards. They apologized. I think that they, after him saying that, I knew he was on the wrong side of history.
Mm-hmm.
And so there have been a lot of private conversations happening from the women in the music industry and the Recording Academy. We got to do better. And I think, I'll speak on my speech. It was that sexual harassment, rape culture, the lack of opportunities for women is not just a Hollywood thing. It's right here in our music industry. And until we start having real conversations and start talking about systemic changes, it's only going to get worse. And I think, like I said, we have the power to shape culture. We also have the power to undo the culture that does not serve us well. And so that's what I'm focused on. And I look for, we need to talk Neil Portnow, all the men who have been running it, and even the women. We got to come together and talk and make some real systemic changes. I didn't agree with his statement at all. Mm-hmm. I didn't agree with it. I think now he don't agree with it either. We don't agree with it, and so we gotta try something. We gotta do better.
Right.
So the Emotion picture is going to debut, right?
Yeah.
It's coming on VH1 and BET
It's coming on BET and MTV.
Oh, MTV.
So it'll be on
okay.
BET midnight, right, going into the 27th.
The 26th going to the 27th.
Yep,
okay.
midnight.
So we have to stay up, everybody.
And then I think like 8 in the morning, it'll be on MTV on the 27th because it's taking TRL's spot.
Okay.
So yeah, watch it. You know, it is set in the near future, and
Not quite Wakanda.
it's not quite. I actually did have the opportunity of having my friends, you know, in Black Panther, Chadwick. I just want to say thank you to them because Lupita came out last night. I did a preview or like a premiere of Dirty Computer here, and she came. But Lupita, Chadwick, Daniel, from Black Panther, they came to Wonderland when I was working on Dirty Computer, and they heard the album before anybody heard it.
Dope.
And they were very encouraging, and they were like, "Yo, when is it coming out?" And so I just want to say shout out to them because to be making an album at the same time as Black Panther and speaking through Afrofuturism, showing us in the future, showing we made it, showing different images of us at the same time, it's really a dream, and it's encouraging and it's inspiring, and I feel very blessed and privileged. So please watch it. I worked my ass off on this project. I just care too much. Please watch it. I love y'all. Thank you.
All right,
Dirty
Janelle
Computers.
Monáe.
Yeah.
This Friday, make sure you pick it up.
She really smells good, man. Great fragrance, like lemon pepper angel wings.
We love you back.
Isn't it weird to say make sure you pick it up because it's not
it
like
up,
people
stream
pick
it.
up
There's
music
physical
anymore.
copies.
Yeah, stream
He's
it.
old, man. Let
Stream
him have his old rhetoric, okay?
Download,
Yeah.
stream, pick it up.
Get the
Pick it
mixtape.
all up.
Get it all up.
Pick it up, man.
Monáe, it's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.